Ever get the feeling like there's this whole world kind of running right under our noses, one we only see like little glimpses of?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing today, kind of diving into one of those hidden worlds.
Okay.
The world of diploma fraud.
Interesting.
Yeah, you might think it's just, someone with a printer and a bad attitude.
Yeah. Right.
But by the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to spot a fake diploma like that.
It's true. It is. It's a lot more sophisticated than people might think.
So much more to it.
It's like a magic trick. The closer you look,
Right.
the more you realize how much skill and planning goes into these things.
So before we expose all the tricks of the trade,
Yeah.
let's start with the basics.
Sure.
What exactly is diploma fraud?
Right.
Is it just about, fake diplomas?
Well, a fake diploma is certainly a part of it,
Okay.
but really it's any attempt to misrepresent your educational credentials.
Gotcha.
So it could be like a totally made-up degree,
Uh-huh.
or even just, tweaking your transcript to hide a bad grade or two.
So there's a whole spectrum of deception here.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the methods are getting more sophisticated all the time.
Really?
Remember those degree mills
Yeah.
popped up a few years back?
Yeah.
Well, they've gone digital.
Oh.
Websites so slick they could fool anyone.
I gotta admit, I've seen those.
Right.
It looks so real.
They play on your aspirations,
Yeah.
offering fast-track degrees, using all the right buzzwords.
Right.
Make it all sound official, but in reality, you're just buying a fancy piece of paper, not an education.
So it's about more than just the diploma itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a car without looking under the hood, right?
Right.
Same goes for credentials. Diploma fraud. It covers all sorts of things like manipulating transcripts, claiming degrees you never earned,
Wow.
even using real coursework to make a totally false narrative.
Okay, that's pretty eye-opening. It
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of work to go through just to deceive someone.
It is.
Why would someone even risk it?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The motivations behind diploma fraud, they're surprisingly diverse,
Really?
ranging from, straightforward economic gain to deeper psychological needs.
Oh, wow.
Some people might feel this immense pressure to keep up.
Yeah.
In today's job market, where even entry-level positions want a ton of qualifications.
That's true.
Others might be driven by, a desire for prestige, a need to prove themselves.
Interesting.
It's almost as if they're trying to convince themselves as much as they're trying to fool others.
So it's not just about greed or laziness then?
No.
There's a more complex human element at play here.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's about understanding those pressures and insecurities that drive people to take such drastic measures.
Right.
It's about recognizing that a simple piece of paper
Yeah.
can become a powerful symbol
Uh-huh.
representing aspirations, insecurities, even a longing for acceptance.
It makes you wonder how much of this is driven by genuine desperation and how much is just ego or a sense of entitlement.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, but regardless of the motivation, the consequences can be pretty bad, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't just getting a slap on the wrist, is it?
No, the stakes are much higher than that.
Okay.
Diploma fraud can land you in serious legal trouble, destroy your professional reputation, and even undermine trust in the entire education system.
Wow.
The ripple effect goes way beyond the individual.
So we've established this is a serious issue, complex motivations,
Yeah.
potentially life-altering consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But how is this deception actually pulled off in practice?
Okay.
What are the methods, the tools of the trade?
Well, like I said, technology has played a big role.
Right.
The internet has become a one-stop shop for all your credential needs,
Really?
whether they're legitimate or not.
Wow.
You can find everything from template services,
Oh, wow.
which let you design your own fake diploma, to online marketplaces, connecting buyers and sellers in this shadowy world of counterfeit credentials.
It's like a whole underground ecosystem.
Exactly. It's a marketplace driven by supply and demand, just like any other. As demand for credentials keeps rising,
Yeah.
you can bet that the supply of fake diplomas will keep pace.
That makes sense.
But here's the thing. Just as the methods of deception have become more sophisticated,
Okay.
so have the methods for detecting it.
Oh, interesting.
There's a whole science to uncovering fake credentials, and that's what we're going to dive into next.
All right, listener, you heard it here first. We're about to give you a crash course in diploma detective work. But first, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the high cost of deception, the consequences of getting caught with your academic pants down.
Stay with us.
We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We've been exploring this intricate world of diploma fraud.
It's a fascinating world.
It is uncovering the motivations.
The methods behind this, honestly, surprisingly widespread phenomenon.
It is.
But let's face it, getting away with something like this,
Right.
it's only half the story, right?
It is. It's like,
Yeah.
building a house of cards
Mm-hmm.
might look impressive for a while,
Right.
but sooner or later,
Yeah,
the whole thing comes crashing down.
exactly. And when it does, what are the consequences?
Yeah.
Paint us a picture of what happens when someone's fake credentials are finally exposed.
Well, usually the most immediate consequence is job loss.
Okay.
I mean, once an employer finds out you've lied about your qualifications,
Yeah.
it's grounds for immediate dismissal.
Right.
And it's not even just about losing that one job.
Right.
It can be so difficult to find new employment
Yeah.
once your reputation is tarnished like that.
So it's like a domino effect impacting your whole career.
Exactly.
Oh.
And it doesn't stop at your career.
Really?
Diploma fraud can have serious legal consequences, too.
Oh.
Depending on where you are, how serious the offense is.
Mm-hmm.
You could be facing criminal charges.
For what?
Forgery, fraud, even identity theft.
Wow.
Talking fines, probation, in some cases even jail time.
That's a pretty hefty price to pay for a shortcut.
It is.
But beyond the legal and professional repercussions,
Yeah,
what about the personal impact?
right.
How does this affect someone's life on a deeper level?
Well, imagine the shame,
Yeah.
the humiliation of being exposed as a fraud. Devastating to your self-esteem,
Yeah.
your relationships with family and friends.
That's true.
And then there's the guilt,
Right.
the regret that comes with knowing you betrayed the trust of people who believed in you.
Yeah.
It's a psychological burden.
Yeah.
Can be really tough to carry.
It's a reminder that actions have consequences.
Right.
Sometimes those consequences extend far beyond what we initially anticipate.
Exactly.
But let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay.
Talk about the broader impact of diploma fraud. You mentioned earlier that it undermines trust in the entire education system.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little more?
Sure. So when diploma fraud is widespread,
Yeah.
it creates this climate of suspicion,
Mm-hmm.
doubt.
Right.
Employers start to question the validity of all credentials,
Even the real ones.
even the ones earned legitimately.
Wow.
It's like a virus, spreads, eroding trust,
Right.
makes it harder for everyone to prove their worth.
And what about educational institutions themselves?
Right. They have to spend time and resources
Yeah.
developing these sophisticated systems just to stay ahead of the fraudsters.
So everyone's playing catch up, trying to outsmart the scammers.
Yeah, exactly.
While still maintaining the integrity of the system.
It's a constant battle.
Wow.
And in the end, it's the students who really suffer.
How so?
Well, the value of their hard-earned degrees gets diminished.
Right.
Employers start viewing all credentials with suspicion.
It's like a devaluation of education.
It is. It is.
So it's not just about individuals cutting corners.
Yeah.
This is like a systemic problem with huge consequences.
Absolutely. Diploma fraud is a symptom of a bigger issue.
Okay.
It reflects the pressure we put on credentials.
In society.
Yes. And until we address those pressures,
Yeah.
this problem's likely to stick around.
So we've painted a pretty bleak picture.
Yeah,
But there are ways to combat diploma fraud, right?
there are.
What can be done to prevent it?
Okay.
Protect ourselves from the consequences.
Well, I think awareness is the first line of defense.
Yeah.
The more we know about diploma fraud,
Yeah.
the better equipped we are to spot those red flags.
Right.
Protect ourselves from becoming victims.
So knowledge is power.
It is in this case.
We need to shine a light on this.
Yeah.
Educate people about the risks.
Absolutely. And for employers.
Yeah.
It's crucial to have really strong verification procedures.
Like what?
Using reputable third-party degree verification services,
Okay.
conducting thorough background checks, contacting institutions directly.
Wow. So don't just take things at face value. Verify, verify, verify.
Exactly. And on a broader level,
Yeah.
we need to address the root causes of diploma fraud,
Like what?
tackling credential inflation,
Hmm.
promoting alternative pathways to success,
Okay.
fostering a culture that values skills,
Right.
experience, more than just pieces of paper.
So it's about changing the mindset, not just making stricter rules.
Absolutely. We need to shift the focus
From what to what?
from credentials to competence.
Interesting. But let's get practical for a second.
Oh,
For
sure.
someone listening right now
Yeah.
who might be reviewing applications or
Right.
checking someone's background,
Okay.
what are some red flags to look for?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
A few things to keep in mind.
Okay.
First, always check if the institution is accredited.
Okay.
Make sure it's recognized by a legit accrediting body.
So don't just assume that any school with a website is real.
Exactly. Do your research. Check if it has a physical address, faculty directory,
Right.
history of publications.
Okay.
And be wary of schools that offer degrees really fast or require very little coursework.
Gotcha.
Those are often signs of a degree mill.
Okay, so if the school checks out,
Right.
what about the diploma itself?
Yeah.
Are there any signs it's fake?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Pay attention to the quality.
Okay.
Look for misspellings,
Uh-huh.
grammatical errors,
Okay.
inconsistencies in the fonts and logos,
Right.
poor printing quality.
So it's like being a detective,
It is
looking for those little things that aren't quite right.
precisely.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. If
Right.
something feels off,
Yeah.
contact the school directly to verify it.
Exactly.
So being a savvy diploma detective
Yeah.
requires knowledge, skepticism, and common sense.
You got it.
And the good news is
Yeah.
there are resources out there to help.
There are.
Websites like the Council for Higher Education, Accreditation,
All right. CHEA.
and the U.S. Department of Education. They provide lists of accredited institutions
They do.
and info on how to spot and avoid diploma mills.
Great resources.
Okay, listener, we've armed you with the knowledge and tools
That's right.
to navigate this treacherous landscape.
You're right.
But before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
we want to leave you with some food for thought.
All right.
In a world where credentials seem to matter more than ever,
Yeah.
how do we make sure genuine learning and skills don't get lost in the shuffle?
That's the question.
We'll be exploring that question in our final segment.
See you with us.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We've been spelunking,
Right.
through these caverns of diploma fraud.
Deep down in there.
And it's a little disheartening
It is.
to see how much emphasis we put on these pieces of paper.
Yeah. It really makes you think,
Yeah.
have we gotten so fixated on just the idea of achievement?
Right.
Have we forgotten what the real thing even is?
Yeah, we've talked about,
Right.
the pressure to succeed, the allure of those shortcuts,
Uh-huh.
the fear of being left behind.
Yeah. It feels like everyone's just scrambling for an edge,
Right.
even if it means, bending the rules a bit.
And I think a lot of listeners out there probably feel that,
Oh, I'm sure.
that pressure, that sense that you need a certain degree or just to get your foot in the door.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like you're saying we need a bigger shift
I do.
in how we think about success.
We need to start valuing genuine learning and practical skills
Okay.
over just collecting credentials.
So imagine a world where employers are focused on what you can do,
Exactly.
not just what's on your resume.
That's the dream,
That would be nice.
wouldn't it?
But how do we get there?
Well, for starters,
Yeah.
we need to rethink how we assess skills and abilities.
Okay.
Instead of just relying on degrees and certifications,
Yeah.
we can incorporate things like
What?
hands-on evaluations, portfolio reviews,
Oh, interesting.
even simulations that actually test problem-solving skills.
So it's about showing what you can do,
Yeah,
not just telling people what you learned.
exactly. And recognizing that learning doesn't stop at graduation.
Right.
We should encourage continuous learning,
Oh,
skills development throughout our careers.
I love that.
Right? The world is changing so fast.
Yeah,
What, today might be outdated tomorrow.
that's true.
So embrace lifelong learning, stay curious,
Right.
and never be afraid to get outside your comfort zone.
I love that. It's about fostering that mindset of growth,
Yes.
adaptability, rather than just chasing after that next credential.
And for employers,
Yeah.
it's about being open to candidates from all sorts of backgrounds,
Okay.
recognizing that talent can come from anywhere.
That's true.
Maybe someone doesn't have the traditional four-year degree,
Yeah.
but they've got a portfolio that shows incredible creativity, problem-solving skills.
Right. Those are the people we should be looking for. It's about looking beyond the paper,
Yes,
seeing the potential, the passion,
absolutely.
the drive.
It's about creating a system that rewards genuine effort and achievement,
Yes.
not just the ability to play the system.
Exactly.
We need to shift that focus from credentials to competence,
Right.
from appearances
Yeah.
to authenticity.
I like that.
And that starts with each of us,
Yeah.
recognizing the value of real learning and choosing to invest in our own growth.
Both personally and professionally.
That's it.
Well said.
Thank you.
It's a good reminder that success isn't about shortcuts or deception.
No,
It's about dedication, perseverance, the
Yeah.
passion we bring to what we do.
it's about the journey,
Yeah.
not just the destination.
Well, this has been a really interesting journey with you,
Yeah.
exploring this topic, and hopefully our listeners are
Yeah.
walking away with, not just an understanding of diploma fraud,
Right.
but a renewed appreciation for, what real learning is,
As-
and the importance of building a future where we value authenticity and integrity.
Couldn't agree more.
That's what it's all about.
That's the key.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive
Yes, thank you.
into the world of diploma fraud.
It's been a pleasure.
We've uncovered some, uncomfortable truths,
We have.
but we've also seen a path toward a more authentic
And meaningful.
approach to success.
Absolutely.
Keep those questions coming.
Yes, please.
And keep exploring those hidden worlds.
There's a lot out there.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.